Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. Now, we had a great guest aligned for today's show, but he had a family emergency, so we've had to postpone his participation. Hopefully all will be well. Now, it's been 3 weeks since our last show, very intense 3 weeks, with 2 Diamond League meetings, each with their own world record, the European Under-18 Championships, and this last weekend, national championships in many countries, including the US. So let's start with the Diamond League meets and their respective world records. 10 July, Hercules meeting in Monaco. 2 weeks after Paris, the Principality also offered a wonderful evening of athletics. In total, 5 world leads were set in Monaco, including a world record and an area record. So let's start with the world record, even though it was not the best mark of the meet. World and Olympic 800-meter champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi ran the 1,000 meters in 2:11.83, ahead of Britain's 2022 1,500 meters world champion Jake Whiteman, 2:12.77. So it was a record for Wanyonyi on his first foray at the distance. Wanyonyi improved by 13 hundredths, the previous best, which had belonged to Kenya's Noah Nyen since 1999, while Whiteman climbed to number 5 of all time. But among the men, the best performance had been signed in the 400 meters by world champion Colin Kobinachippi, who improved his PB to 43.44, closing ahead of Jacori Patterson, 43.96, and 400-meter hurdles world champion Rai Benjamin with 44.13. I really hope to soon see Kobinachippi compete against Nigeria's NCAA champion Samuel Ogazi, who was only born in 2006 and has the world lead with 43.38. Now, the pole vault saw Mondo Duplantis victorious with 6 meters 07, the third best outdoor mark of the year. The event was not originally on the Monaco program, but the Swede, who recently switched his residency to the Principality, knocked on the door of the Fédération Monégasque d'Athlétisme and asked them to add it. The organizers kindly obliged, and Mondo thanked them by improving the meet record. Now, finally, among the men, we need to mention the long jump, where the champion of everything, Miltiadis Theodoglu, reclaimed the world lead with an excellent 8 meters 61 on the last attempt, culminating a great series, which also included jumps at 8:52, 8:49, and 8:48. That was a great return to form after a difficult year where the Greek had struggled through injuries. Now, among the women, the outstanding performance was the exceptional 200 meters by Julian Alfred, who clocked a sizzling 21.51 to improve to number 3 of all time. Second place went to Adeja Hodge with 21.76, sandwiched in between 2 Paris Olympic champions, Alfred in the 100 and Gabby Thomas in the 200, with Thomas clocking 21.84 in Monaco. Now, the young standout from the British Virgin Islands lost her world lead, but she confirmed that she deserves a spot among the world's sprint queens. And Julian Alfred proved how running more relaxed is making her not only happier, but also faster. And what to say about Agnes Jebet-Ngetic, who won the 3,000 meters in 8:08.95, the third best mark of all time, leaving her competitors almost 15 seconds behind. Ngetic, who won the World Cross in January before starring in 10K road races in spring, has finally proved herself on the track. And that's a great result, not only for herself, but also for Kenya, as the country's two greatest stars are either injured, Faith Kipyegon, or on maternity leave, Beatrice Chebet. Now, there was also an extraordinary race by high hurdler Masai Russell, who won in 12.20, another meet record. The Olympic champion now owns the 5 best marks of the year and 5 of the top 10 of all time. Totally impressive. 400 meters saw another great performance by Dominican Republic's Marilady Paulino. Although the Olympic champion was very unhappy with the first part of her race, she was able to recover and pass the USA's Aliyah Butler, clawing back victory in the final straight with 48.67 to 48.84. And finally, to conclude our Hercules review, we need to mention the 4 meters 95 in the pole vault by Olympic champion Nina Kennedy, concluding her comeback after having to sit out the whole of last year through injury. Her performance improves by 1 centimeter the previous continental best, which had belonged to New Zealand's Eliza McCartney since 2018, and is the equal 5th best mark of all time. And it's good to see ladies passing a bar over 4 meters 90. It was becoming quite rare. So let's move now to the other Diamond League meet, 18 July, London Athletics meet. Just 2 world leads, but both exceptional, including a world record and another stratospheric mark, as well as many other excellent results. So much so that the meeting totaled 95,233 points in the World Athletics Competition Performance Rankings, moving up to 3rd place in its category, only behind Pre-Classic in Eugene and the Paris Diamond League meeting. Now, the world record, as we know, came in the mile. Josh Kerr had taken the risky decision to announce his world record attempt well ahead of the date, calling it Project 222, as the objective was a mark of 3 minutes 42. That is 222 seconds. And the 2023 1500 meter world champion delivered exactly as planned. He clocked 3:42.66 and left Yared Nuguse, a multiple global medalist, more than 3 seconds behind with 3:45.94. Kerr took 0.47 seconds off the previous record set in 1999, 27 years ago, by the great Hicham El Guerrouj, a mark which had withstood previous assaults by Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Yared Nuguse, and Kerr himself. But the most high-level event in London was not the mile, it was the 400-meter hurdles, where world record holder Karsten Warholm clocked a fabulous 46.61, a mark worth over 1,300 points, to move to the top of the 26 world list. And behind the Norwegian, there was an excellent 47.45 for Emil Agiekum, who shaved 300ths off the German record of the great Harald Schmidt, which had resisted for 44 years. The level of the event is amazing. It really is overall the very best in our sport. However, the result which generated the most talk was the second victory of Nigeria's NCAA champion, Kayinsola Ajayi, over 100 meters world champion oblique Sevilla, equaling his PB of 9.84, even with a headwind of 0.7 meters per second, against 9.87 for Sevilla. Now, Ajayi had done it already in Eugene, but the 100 meters were not a Diamond League event there. And the Nigerian repeated the win and the time, which could have been faster had he not turned to stare down the Jamaican in the final stretch. Now, it's great for our sport to see these young athletes challenge and even beat the established champions. And another great talent who is not yet 21 is the new 110 hurdles record holder, Kobe Tharpe, who in London signed an excellent 12.89, his third sub-13 of the season, to finish ahead of Cuba's 20-year-old Kendry Menendez, who improved to 13.01. As we will see later, the high hurdles are really among the most dynamic events of the year in all age categories. Among the women, the best came as a surprise. 2025 NCAA discus champion Sierra Jackson improved her PB by almost 4 meters for a massive 71.72 throw to reach number 15 of all time. And it was the best performance outside the special conditions in Ramona since the 1980s, and inflicted a rare defeat on reigning Olympic and world champion Valerie Zion, who in this case only managed 68.39 meters. On the track, St. Lucia's sprinter Julian Alfred confirmed her excellent shape with 21.66, the second best mark of the year, ahead of Olympic champion Gabby Thomas with 21.81. In other events, there was a classy win by Marilady Paulino with 48.97 against 49.15 for Norway's Henriette Jaeger. And although it was not a top-level event, we cannot forget the 800 meters won by Keely Hodgkinson over Femke Broeders-Bol, 1:56.21 to 1:56.46. The indoor world record holder had been hoping for a faster time, even the outdoor world record on home turf, but had not yet recovered from the injury she had suffered in training just before the Eugene meet at the start of the month. Now, the women's 800 meters should, however, be the highlight of the upcoming European Championships, with Audrey Huero, who has dominated so far, hopefully a recovered Hodgkinson, her compatriot Georgia Hunter-Bell, who always gives her best at major championships, Femke Broeders-Bol learning to master her new event, and new faces like Frances Anaïs Bourgoin. So I'm really looking forward to see them all compete together in Birmingham. So that concludes our review of the recent Diamond League meets. Let's move now to the last and largest group of national championships held over the past weekend, starting with the USATF Outdoor Championships held in New York from 23 to 26 July. Now, with several top athletes skipping the event, as this year they were not trials for any major global championship, the total World Athletics Competition Performance Ranking of the 2026 edition, 178,167 points, was the lowest at the USATF Championships since 2018. But the event still produced some very high-class performances. We'll review the results by groups of events, starting with the sprints, which, as per tried and tested tradition, delivered the very best results. Among the men, the star was Noah Lyles, who took the 100-meter title in a world lead of 9.79, ahead of Ronnie Baker with 10.88, same time as third place Kenny Bednarek, and Christian Coleman fourth in 9.93 after clocking 9.90 in the semis. The other semifinals had been even faster, but were wind aided. 9.76 for Noah Lyles, with only a slight wind which was slightly over the mark, 2.1 meters per second. 9.82 for Kenny Bednarek with 3.2 meters per second, and 9.85 for Ronnie Baker in the same semi as Lyles. Now, Noah Lyles was also entered in the 200, where he had been rather low-key so far this year. But after running 20.51 in the heat, he cramped up in the final and jogged in last over the line. Now, thank goodness it was just a cramp and nothing more serious. But the double 100, 200 meters 2023 world champion thus lost his win streak over his favorite event, where he had been unbeaten since the 2024 Olympic final, where he had contracted COVID after winning the 100 meters. Now, in the women's sprints, two great ladies shared the spoils, each contesting one distance. In the 100 meters, 2023 world champion Sha'Carri Richardson is back in great shape, clocking 10.77 to finish far ahead of her rivals after 10.90 in the heats. Over the double distance, last year's double world champion Melissa Jefferson-Wooden was even faster, clocking a sizzling and solitary 21.69, far ahead of runner-up Cambria Sturgis with 22.22. Now, the hurdles also saw some excellent results. In the men's 110-meter hurdles, top two stars of the year, Jacoby Tharp and Jamal Britt, were not competing in New York, but world champion Cordell Tinch produced his best race of the season to take the crown in 13 flat, 4 thousandths faster than newcomer Bradley Franklin, credited with the same time. Now, Franklin had just turned 20 the day before the final. He had already improved his PB in the heats to 13.04 from 13.09 at the NCAA's last month and 13.43 last year. The 400 hurdles, on the other hand, saw a dominant performance by Chris Robinson, fourth place finisher at the World Indoors last March and a member of the gold-winning relay, who took the lead in the third hurdle and pulled away to win in 47.61, almost 1 second ahead of the field. Now, let's move to the throws, which are also very successful events for US athletes, and the New York Championships were no exception. The best came in the men's shot put from world indoor silver medalist Jordan Geist, who broke 22 meters for the second time this month, winning in 22.32 ahead of 2025 world indoor bronze medalist Adrian Piperi with 21.91. In the women's event, 22 and 23 world champion Chase Jackson produced her fourth throw over 20 meters 50 this year to take the title with 20.55. In the women's discus, there was a sweet revenge for Olympic and world champion Valerie Zion, who bounced back after her London loss to Sierra Jackson, taking the crown with 69 meters 54, as Jackson stalled at 67 meters 40, close to her pre-London PB. Zion is still the top star in the discus, but is not as dominant as last year, as Jackson has blasted onto the scene, and Dutch women Jorinde van Klinken and Alida van Dalen have all increased their level. So that's it for the USATF championships. Let's take a look at other national championships. The best of the rest came from Brazil, where 2022 world champion Alison dos Santos stormed to a fabulous 46.48 promptly taking back the 400-meter hurdles world lead just 8 days after Karsten Warholm had snatched it in London. Another impressive result came from Lithuania, where discus world record holder Mykolas Alekna achieved a superb series with 4 attempts over 70 meters, culminating with 72 meters 65, but also 71.98, 71.54, and 71.46, while the shortest one was still an excellent 69 meters 78. So that is the longest throw outside the special conditions in Ramona, and even more extraordinary considering that Aleka had undergone surgery in March after fully tearing his pectoral muscle. Another exceptional result came from the Greek nationals, where Miltiadis Tedoglu confirmed he is definitely back, improving his PB to 8 meters 66 and equaling the national record by Luis Tsatoumas with a fabulous series. Massive first 3 attempts of 8.52, windy 8.66, and a regular 8.66, and a final flourish at 8 meters 64. Really impressive. Now, 2 excellent marks highlighted the Italian championships. In the shot put, world leader Leo Fabri triumphed with 22 meters 43, a victory made even sweeter as it was achieved in his hometown, Firenze. In the triple jump, double world indoors champion Andy Diaz Hernandez improved his own world lead to a national record of 17.87 meters. There were also good performances from Middle European countries. The highlight of the German nationals was the 400-meter hurdles, where Emil Agiekum confirmed his progress this year with a 47.65 victory. While in the Netherlands, shot put world champion Jessica Schilder threw a massive 20 meters 58 in spite of the cold and wet conditions. And finally, I would like to mention 3 amazing senior athletes. At the Polish Championships, triple Olympic and quadruple world hammer throw champion Anita Włodarczyk conquered her 13th national title 2 weeks before her 41st birthday. At the Portuguese Championships, 42-year-old Nelson Evora, the former triple jump Olympic and world champion, respectively, back in 2008 and 2007, captured a 16th national title, including 3 on the long jump, and it was his first since 2017. On the other hand, the absolute champion of longevity, 47-year-old French discus thrower Mélina Robert-Michon, was unsuccessful when attempting to earn her 25th, yes, 25 national crown, managing a throw of 56.69 to the winner's 60.47. It was the very first time that Robert-Michon had not won the French title. She had only missed out in 2010 and 2018 when she was on maternity leave. A former Olympic and World Championship silver medalist 10 and more years ago, Robert-Michon is still aiming to qualify for the 2028 Olympics, which would be her record-breaking 8th edition. Vas-y, Mélina. So let's take a final look at European meets, in particular, the last event of the Continental Tour Gold Series held on 14 July in Budapest, the István July Memorial. It produced some absolutely excellent results, and achieved the best World Athletics Competition performance ranking for its category with 93,581 points. One of the top highlights was 110 hurdles, where a new world record holder, Jacoby Tharp, clocked the second best mark of the year and the fifth best ever with 12.85, in spite of slowing down a little in the very final stages once victory was secured. Behind Tharp, three athletes also ran very fast times: 13:01 for Jamal Britt, 13:06 for Cordell Tinch, and 13:09 for Kendry Menendez. In the pole vault, world record holder Mondo Duplantis was the winner with 6 meters 07, while Australia's Curtis Marshall confirmed his status as number 2 outdoors this year, clearing 6 meters. In a country which adores the hammer throw, Olympic and world champion Ethan Katzberg put together a great series with 3 throws over 82 meters, improving his own world lead to 83.64 to win ahead of Germany's Merlin Hummel with 81.74. And in the 400 hurdles, Germany's Emil Agiekum prevailed by 1/100th of a second over the USA's Trevor Bassett, 47.58 to 47.59, a mark he would further improve 4 days later in London, confirming his newfound status as one of the best in his discipline. And I would also like to highlight the 200-meter victory by Morocco's Yassine Sin with 19.92. Although there were a couple better marks in Budapest, they were from established athletes, while it's always good to see new faces emerging, as the Moroccan improved his national record for the 5th time this year. Among the women, there were also excellent performances. The very best came from the USA's Masai Russell, who dominated the 100 hurdles with a time of 12.33, confirming her status as the unbeaten queen of the event this year. The other high point came from her compatriot Gabby Thomas, as the Paris Olympics 200-meter champion signed another high-level performance with 21.83. So that's it for one-day meetings. Let's move now to Continental Under-18 Championships. On 10 to 12 July in Tlaxcala, Mexico, the NACAC Under-23 and Under-18 Championships were held, and there was one really outstanding result in the Under-18 category. It came in the 110 hurdles at the 91 centimeter height for this age group from Jacario Wilson of the Bahamas, who ran a fantastic time of 12.94 with a wind exactly at the limit of 2 meters per second, climbing to number 4 in the Under-18 all-time list. A few days later, from 16 to 19 July, the European Under-18 Championships were held in Rieti in Italy. The very best result there came from Czech hurdler Linda Botkova, who, aged 16, ran the 400-meter hurdles in 55.19, which is not only the European Under-18 best, but also the European Under-20 record, the number 2 on the all-time Under-18 list, behind only mega champion Cindy McLaughlin, and also the number 12 on the Under-20 all-time list. Of course, it was a championship record, and it was the 3rd one for the young Czech, who had bettered it in every single round in Rieti. Now, the high hurdles were exceptional, fantastic performances followed by heartbreaks. Among the boys, Netherlands' El Jaro Philipsen had clocked an excellent 12.96 in the heats, a European under-18 best, and number 5 on the under-18 all-time list. Then clocked 13.07 in the semis, but was surprised in the final by Turkey's Yunus Emre Civelek, who improved to 13.13 in the heats and 13.08 in the final to take the crown and move to number 12 in the under-18 all-time list. And there was a similar pattern in the girls' race, starring Italy's arch favorite Alessia Succo, who already holds the equal number 2 under-18 performance of all time and had made her Diamond League debut in Rome. In the heats, the Italian also delivered a championship record with a super fast 12.91. But warning bells should have sounded in the semis, where Succo ran in a 13.06 into a strong headwind, minus 1.3 meters per second, while Germany's Delicia Benelisa Domingos clocked a 13.04 into a headwind of 0.5. In the final, Succo stumbled, while Domingos improved to 13 flat to move to number 10 in the under-18 all-time list. So fantastic competitions, confirming that the high hurdles are really among the most exciting events in our sport. There was, however, glory for Italy from the other under-18 star on the team, sprinter Kelly Douala, who improved to 11.14 in the 100 meters, also a European under-18 best, and equal number 10 on the under-18 all-time list. More great performances in the field events. Finland's combined eventer Alisa Launonen improved to 6,154 points with the under-18 implements to move to number 5 in the under-18 all-time list, while behind her another talented young athlete, Germany's Svea Funk, totaled 6,065 points to move to number 9 in the under-18 all-time list. Another athlete who broke the under-18 all-time top 10 is French pole vaulter Julie Bourgis, who took the title with 4 meters 40 for equal number 10 of all time, ahead of compatriot Isilde Drouet. More exceptional marks came in both the sprint medley relays, both by Czechia. Among the boys, Jan Tuhacek, Stepan Barzak, Lukasz Bednarik, and Jakub Marek clocked to 1:51.44 to move to number 6 in the age category all-time list, while Spain was an excellent second in 1:51.81, moving to equal number 7. Among the girls, there was another triumph for Czechia, as Klara Kaderova, Oneta Onderkova, Linda Botkova, and Anna Cherovska took a clear win in 2:05.65, also moving to number 6 in the under-18 all-time list, like their male compatriots. So before we close the chapter on the under-18 European Championships, let's recap the superlatives from Rieti. 3 European under-18 bests. Among the men, Eliaro Philipsen with 12.96 in the 110 hurdles. In the 100 meters, Kelly Douala with 11.14. And in the 400 hurdles, the fantastic 55.19 by Czechia's Linda Botkova moves to number 2 in the under-18 all-time list and number 12 of all time among the under-20. So, as we said, there was also Botkova's performance was also a European under-20 record, while there were 18 European Championship records bests, 12 World Under-18 leads, and 24 European under-18 leagues. So really a great edition of the championships. And finally, let's take a look at the Rieti 26 medal table. Great Britain topped the medal table with 8 golds, 2 silver, and 4 bronzes for a total of 14. Czechia was behind with 6 golds, 2 and 5. Spain, 4 golds and 5 silver, but 6 bronzes, won the most medals, a total of 15. Germany also 4 golds, 2 and 5 for a total of 11. France had a total of 10 medals, 3 gold, 4 and 3. Finland, 3 golds and 1 bronze. Italy, 2 golds, 4 silvers and 2 bronze, below their expectations. Poland, Greece, Netherlands, Switzerland, Turkey, Slovenia, Bulgaria, Cyprus, and Slovakia, all with 1 gold. So in total, 17 countries won gold and 25 countries won at least 1 medal. So really, as we said, very, very good edition of the competition. Now, a number of these young champions will compete next at the World Under-20 Championships in Eugene in early August, including the brightest star, Czechia's Linda Botkova, who will, however, contest the 100 hurdles rather than her specialist event. So that's it for the recap of the athletics action. Commonwealth Games are underway. They started on 27 July and conclude on the 1st of August, but we will review them in the next show. So it's time now to go back to the global overview of our sport and check all the best results since the last show, starting with the senior men's events. We continue to add in brackets marks which are regular, which are listed on their respective website, Tila Stopaya, but do not appear on World Athletics lists. Now, all marks worth 1,230 points or more are listed, but we will only mention those worth 1,240 points or more, as there are simply so many of them. So, starting with the men. As we said, 9.79 for Noah Lyles, moves to the top of the season's list, bettering Oblique Sevilla with 9.82 and Kayinsola Ajay. Kayinsola Ajay repeated his 9.84 at the London Diamond League, where he defeated Oblique Sevilla with 9.87. Sevilla had also run 9.88 in Monaco, the same time as Ronnie Baker and Kenny Bednarek at the US Championships, 9.89 for Kadrian Goldson of Jamaica in Memphis, and also for South Africa's Bayanda Walaza in Banska Bystrica. 9.90 also, as we said, in New York for Christian Coleman in the semifinals. Some very interesting windy marks over the hundreds. 9.76 for Noah Lyles in the semifinals in New York, 9.82 for Kenny Bednarek there, 9.85 for Ajani Dwyer in Memphis, 9.85 for Brandon Hicklin of the US in Edmonton, Canada, and also 9.85 for Ronnie Baker in the semis at the US Championships. In the 400, 43.44 for Colin Kobinatshipi in Monaco, and 43.96 for Jacori Patterson in the same race. Also 44.02 for Zambia's Muzala Samukonga in Budapest, and 44.05 for Rai Benjamin in London. 44.13 Rai Benjamin had run in Monaco. 800 meters, 142.13 for Marco Arop at the National Championships in Edmonton, 142.19 for Brandon Miller in London Diamond League. 1,000 meters, now these marks are below the threshold. Well, Emmanuel Wagnoni's world record of 211.83 is worth 1,253 points. Jake Whiteman is below our threshold of 1,240, but he moves to number 5 in the all-time list, so we need to mention him. In the 1,500 meters, the best marks of the last 3 weeks are all splits from the mile in London. 327.62 for Josh Kerr, 329.36 for Jared Nugus, and 330.09 for Robert Farken. In the mile, of course, those marks are very high on the top marks. 342.66 for Josh Kerr, 345.94 for Jared Nugus, 3.46.73 for Jake Hayward of the US, also in London, and 346.73 for Germany's Robert Farken. 5,000 meters, the marks at the Monaco Diamond League are well below the top ones this year and aren't worth more than 1,237 for winner Dominic Lokinyomolobalu. In the 3,000 steeplechase, Simon Cherop Koech was finally a Kenyan winner in Monaco, but his time of 8:03.55 is slower than his third place time in Rabat. 110 hurdles, we mentioned the 12.85 by Jacoby Tharp and 12.89 by the same athlete in London. 13 flat for Cordell Tinch and Bradley Franklin at the US ATF Championships. 13:01 for Jamal Britt in Budapest and Kendry Menendez in London. 13:04 for Bradley Franklin in the heats in New York, and 13:06 for Cordell Tinch in Budapest. Windy 110 hurdles mark of 12.91 for Jamal Britt in Memphis on 10 July. Now the 400 hurdles, amazing performances, as we saw, 46.84 for Alison Dos Santos at the National Championships on 26 July, taking back the world lead with a fabulous total of 1,312 points. Karsten Barholm with his 46.61 in London, that was 1,305 points. Karsten also ran 47.14 at the National Championships in Trondheim. Emila Giekum, as we saw, 47.45 in London, 47.58 in Budapest, 100th faster than Trevor Bassett. Chris Robinson, 47.61 in New York. Caleb Dean, 47.62 in Budapest. Emila Giekum, 47.65 at the National Championships on 26 July in Bochum. Mateusz Lima, 47.74 in Budapest. And an interesting mark from Dominican Republic's Yeral Nunez, 47.77 in Madrid on 16 July. Pole vault, we mentioned 6:07 for Mondo Duplantis at both the Monaco Diamond League and the Budapest Continental Tour Gold Meet. 6 meters for Curtis Marshall in Budapest, and Sondre Guttormsen at the National Championships. 595 for Sam Kendricks, Mondo Duplantis, Curtis Marshall, and Emmanuel Caralis, all in London Diamond League. Long jump, it's been all about Miltiadis Tedoglu at the very top, 6 meters 66 at the National Championships on 26 July. That's worth 1,282 points, and he moves to equal number 13th in the all-time list. He already had 8 meters 61 in Monaco on 10 July. But Bulgaria's young Bojidar Saraboyukov is not far behind, 8 meters 49 on 14 July in Plovdiv, and 8 meters 48 at the National Championships in Sofia, both in Bulgaria. Triple jump, we mentioned Andy Diaz Hernandez improving his own world lead to 17.87 at the National Championships in Firenze. Shot put, 22.44 for Jordan Geist in Memphis, 22.43 for Leo Fabri in Florence, 22.32 for Jordan Geist at the Nationals in New York, 22.04 for Leo Fabri in Budapest. And in the discus, this amazing 72 meters 65 by Nicolas Alekna at the National Championships, just a few months after his pectoral surgery. That's worth a massive 1,293 points. Daniel Stoll at the Nationals, 69 meters 85 in Uppsala, and Christian C, 69 meters 0.16 in Maribor. Hammer throw, we mentioned Ethan Katzberg improving his own world lead in Budapest to 83 meters 64. In the decathlon, of course, this is far from the target of 1,230, but decathlete is different. You have to allow that. So Garrett Scantling won the US championships with 8,526 points. Okay, so in the women, we mentioned Sha'Carri Richardson with 10.77 in New York, equaling her time from 20 June, and also the second best mark of the year by British Virgin Islands, Adeja Hodge. On the 200, fabulous performances by Julian Alfred, 21.51 in Monaco, moves to number 3 in the all-time list, and 21.66 in London. 21.69 for Melissa Jefferson Wooden at the US trials, 21.76 for Adeja Hodge in Monaco, and then a series of performances by Gabby Thomas, 21.81 in London, 21.83 in Budapest, 21.84 in Monaco, and 21.92 for Kayla White on 14 July in Budapest. Also a very good, albeit a windy mark by Nigeria's Favour Ofili, 21.74 with a tailwind of 2.8 meters per second in Memphis. In the 400 hurdles, 48.67 for Marilady Paulino in Monaco, followed by Aliyah Butler with 48.84. Again, Marilady Paulino with 48.97 in London, followed by Henriette Jaeger with 49.15. 3,000 meters, fabulous 808.95 for Agnes Jebet-Getic in Monaco, number 3 in the all-time list, and way behind her, 3 other ladies with 823 or 824. In the 3,000 steeplechase, there was just one new performance by Bahrain's Winfried Yavi, 8:52.87 in Heusden-Zolder in Belgium. In the 100 hurdles, 12.20 for Masai Russell in Monaco and 12.33 in Budapest. In the pole vault, 4 meters 95 for Nina Kennedy in Monaco, moves to equal number 5 in the all-time list. Also 4 meters 90 for Sandy Morris at the US Nationals. Shot put, Sarah Mitten improved to 20 meters 66 in Burnaby. Jessica Schilder 20:58 at the National Championships, and Chase Jackson 20:55 at the US Nationals. Discus, there was this fabulous 71 meters 72 by Sierra Jackson in London, worth 1,288 points, and also 69 meters 54 for Valerie Zion in winning the US Nationals. And the javelin throw, Jan Gigi, a very good 68 meters 75 for an athlete who is still under 20 in Monaco. She is by far the best javelin thrower. So those were the top marks of the past fortnight. But what were the 20 best performances so far this year? Among the men, there are 2 new entries from this fortnight and one other just below our threshold of 1,300 points. So top 2 marks remain Mondo Duplantis in the pole vault, 631 worth 1,353 points, 6 meters 25 worth 1,336. Then the 2 marks from London Marathon, world record of 1:59:30 by Sebastian Saue, worth 1,328. Second place, Yomif Kejelcha, worth 1,324. Then discus throw in Ramona, 74 meters 04 by Matthew Denny. Mile indoor area record by Cole Hawker, 3:45:94. Discus 74 meters by Stephen Richter in Ramona. Pole vault indoors 6 meters 17 by Emanuela Caralis. And here we have the first entry, 46.48 by Alison dos Santos, worth, as we saw, 1,312 points. Next, we have the 800 meters world indoor by Josh Hoey. Discus 73 meters 58 by Matthew Denny. Jacob Kiplimo's 2 hours 00:28 for third in London. The other new entry is also in the 400 hurdles, 46.61 by Karsten Warholm in London. Then the 110 hurdles world record by Jacoby Tharp. 2 more marks by Mondo Duplantis, 6:13 in Paris and 6:12 in Kochau. Now, just under the our threshold of 1,300 points, we have 400 hurdles, Alison dos Santos in Xiamen, windy 100 meters, 9.67 for Marcel Jacobs, 200 meters, 19.95 indoors by Garrett Kalund, and the mile world record by Josh Kerr in London is worth 1,298 points. So let's now check the women. Best women's performance of the year, including 4 new entries, in the top 20 and one just below over the last 3 weeks are now Valerie Zion with her 73 meters 10, and Ramona remains the top women's mark, 1,313 points. Agnes Ngetic, 10K in Lille, worth 13,006 points. Marathon Feuten Tesfaye, that's worth 1,303. Javelin throw 71.74 by Yann Gilly is worth 1,296. And here we have the first new entry, 21.51 by Julian Alfred, which is worth 1,290 points, followed by 71 meters 72 for Sierra Jackson in London, worth 1,288, and the 3,000 meters mark by Agnes Jebet-Ngetic in Monaco, worth 1,283. Following 100 meters 10.63, Adeja Hodge, 10K road races, 2 marks, Brenda Jebchirchir and Likina Ameba. Then the top 800 meter mark by Audrey Huerro, 21.09 by Jessica Schilder, 70.99 for Jorinde van Klinken in Ramona in the discus. Julian Alfred with 21.66 also makes the top 20. And further down, just outside the top 20, the 200 meter mark of 21.69 by Melissa Jefferson Wooden in New York. So really fabulous performances this year by our star athletes. Now, as we saw, several under 20 and under 18 athletes also registered excellent performances over the past 3 weeks. So let's look first at the under 20s. In the 800 meters at the US National, sorry, that should read 26 July, not 7 June Stockholm, Cooper Lutkenhaus ran 1:43.48. That's his third best mark of the season, but it's still better than number 9 on the under 20 all-time list, but he already has number 2. And it's sad that Cooper won't be competing again until the indoors. So we're going to be 6 months without Cooper Lutkenhaus. Very good performance in the 1,000 meters, 2:16.41 by Australia's Daniel Williams in Monaco, moves to number 5 in the under 20 all-time list. The 110 hurdles over the senior height have been all about Lee Ezra Brown and also Jashon Lloyd. But at the Norwegian Championships on 25 July, there was a very good 13.44 by Anthony Omundsen Jonsen, who moves to number 16 equal on the under 20 all-time list. In the pole vault, Zacharia Dia of France has already jumped to 5.82, moving to number 2 in the under 20 all-time list. And he twice cleared a 5.70 m, the second time at the French Nationals in Albi, which is equal number 2 on the number 15 on the under 20 all-time list. In the long jump, Jorge Hodelin of Cuba had set the world under 20 record with 8:46 on 13 June. On 10 July in Monaco, he jumped an excellent 8:38, which is equal number 2 on the category all-time list. 5,000 meters race walk, good mark by Peru's Jose Duvan Cosco Sueldo, 1927.12, moves to number 17 in the under 20 all-time list. And a good performance by Great Britain under 20 at the London Diamond League meet with 39.26. That is better than number 15 on the under 20 all-time list, but Great Britain under 20 already have number 7. Among the women, very good 8:29.09 in the 3,000 meters by Marta Alemayo in London on 18 July. 400 hurdles, we've mentioned the 400 hurdles, we've mentioned the 55.19 by Linda Botkova in Rieti. In the hammer throw, Pina Karha already has the world lead with 70 meters 73, and on 12 July in Tampere, she threw 70 meters 00, which is better than number 10 on the under 20 all-time list, but she already has number 6. And in the javelin throw, 68.75 for Yan Gilly in Monaco. So let's look now at the under 18, which were also very good. In the among the boys, 110 hurdles over the 91.4 centimeters. Great performance, as we saw, 12.94 for Jacario Wilson of the Bahamas at the NACAC Under 18 Championships, moves to number 4 on the age category all-time list. Yared Ejasian of Nigeria in Paris at the age category championships, 13:04 in the heats, 13:04 again in the final, and 13:07 for Eliaro Philipsen in Rieti in the semi-finals, and 13:08 for Yunus Emre Cibelek of Turkey in the final. 13:09 also for Eliaro Philipsen behind the Turk. 13:13 for Cibelek in the heat 5, which was then number 15 in the under 18 all-time list, and another mark of 13:15 by Jared Ejasian in the semifinals of the underage category championships in Paris. In the high jump, 2 meters 25 for Britain's Samuel James. That's equal number 13 in the under 18 all-time list. He set that mark in Rieti. Shot put, 21 meters 82 for Barbados' Jaden Walcott at the under 18 NACAC championships in Mexico, moves to number 14 on the age category list. Then we have the sprint medley. We've already mentioned Czechia winning in Rieti with 151.44, followed by Spain with 151.81. But there were also very good marks at the national championships in Huangshi, China, by Jiangsu under 18 and Shandong under 18. And in between the two Chinese teams, in the heats, 152.11 for Czechia under 18 in Rieti. And in the mile relay, 3:10.68 by Jiangsu under 18. Among the women, 11.14 in the 100 meters for Kellyanne Douala, moves to equal number 10 in the under 18 all-time list. In the hurdles, we saw 12.91 for Alessia Succo in the heats, which would be number 5 on the age category all-time list, but she already has number 2. 12.96 for Slovakia's Nina Hejčíková also in the heats in Rieti, moves to number 7 on the under-18 all-time list. In the final, 13 flat for Germany's Delicia Berenice Domingos, who moves to number 10. The German had already clocked 13.04 in the semis, and Suko 13.06 also in the semis. 400 hurdles, again, of course, Linda Botkova's wonderful 55.19. She had also clocked 57.78 in the semis and 57.79 in the heats. And in the pole vault, we mentioned 4 meters 40 by France's Julie Bourgis. Triple jump, 13 meters 98 for Bulgaria's Victoria Angelova, moves to number 16 on the age category all-time list. And 2 great marks in the heptathlon, 6,150 points for Finland's Alisa Launonen and 6,065 points for Germany's Svea Funk. Sprint medley relay, 2:05.65 for Czechia, moved to number 6 on the under-18 all-time list, and Poland 2:06.99. That's better than number 14 on the all-time list, but Poland under-18 already have number 4. So that's it for our long, but I hope interesting review of the competition from the past 3 weeks. Let's look now at the upcoming champion events as we reach the end of our show. So as we said, Commonwealth Games are underway in Glasgow from 27 July to 1st of August. 2 to 8 August, Central America and Caribbean Games. These are the dates for athletics in Santo Domingo. Now, Central American and Caribbean Games are the oldest championship in our sport. 5 to 9 August, World Under-20 Championships in Eugene. 10 to 16 August, European Athletics Championships in Birmingham. And after all these championships, the Diamond League starts again in Lausanne on 21 August. 2 days later in Chorzów, Silesia. On 27 August, Weltklasse in Zürich. 30 August to 2 September is the Mediterranean Games, dates for athletics in Taranto in Italy, but also 30 August is the Sydney Marathon, which, as we know, is now a world marathon major. Other marathons in Mexico City and Harbin. And 4 to 5 September, Diamond League final, the Memorial Van Damme in Brussels. Shortly after that, 10 to 13 September, the Ultimate Championships in Budapest, and we'll see how that plays out. 18 and 19 September, the Castar World Combined Events Tour Gold meeting in Talence. 18 September, there should be an Athlos meeting in London. 19 to 20 September is the World Road Running Championships in Copenhagen. 23 to 29 September, Asian Games, dates for athletics in Nagoya in Japan. 27 September, the Berlin Marathon. And on 2 October, the inaugural original Athlos meet in New York. So we're now at the end of our program, and it's been great to review together the athletics action of the past 3 weeks. Thank you all for watching. Now, in August and early September, Love Athletics will take a break, as I'll be constantly traveling between the European Championships, the last meets of the Diamond League, and the Ultimate Championships. Now, we will, of course, publish video interviews from the protagonists of these events, but it will not be possible to record a show until after Budapest. In the meantime, enjoy a great summer of athletics. See you soon. Ciao, thank you.